Hello students, this is Pallav sir. I hope everyone is doing good. Now today we are going to start a new exercise 9.3 of chapter 9 Algebraic expressions and identities. Now today I will explain all the sums of question number 1. So let's see what is there in question number 1. So what we have to do, we have to carry out the multiplication of the expressions. Now as you see, this word is written expressions. Now before we get on with all the sums of question number 1, we need to understand that what are the expressions would be given in all the sums of question number 1. So the first expression that would be given is monomial, and another one another one that would be given is binomial. Okay, now we have studied about this monomial and binomial in our previous session as well. So before we start on with the exercise sums, so let me just recapitulate on what is monomial and what is binomial. So monomial is what, students? It is the expressions which has only one term. So the expressions which has only one term, isn't it? Now if I have to give some example, then we can give 2x, this is only one term, or we can give 4x square, or only y, or 7x square y. These are all monomial, students. Now what is binomial then? So let's see what is binomial. Binomial is an expression which has only two terms. Okay, so expression which have two terms. Okay, only two terms. Now let us see some example. Suppose 2x plus y. How many terms are there? 1 and 2. That means two monomials are there, and these two monomials are separated by the arithmetical operation which is plus sign. Now we can write x minus y also. See, in this time two monomials are separated by minus sign, isn't it? So what is the observation? That when two monomials are separated by a mathematical operation, suppose by plus sign or by minus sign, so this form of expression is called binomial term. So today we will learn how to multiply monomial term with binomial term. Okay students, now let's get on with the exercise sum. So let's see what is there in sum number 1 of question number 1. So we have 4p comma q plus r. So from the question itself we can say that this expression is monomial and this expression is binomial. Okay, now what exactly you have to do, how to multiply it, what is the first step that you have to do. Now students, always try to keep the monomial term at first, then you give a multiplication sign, and then you give one bracket, and inside the bracket you will write the binomial term. Fine, please try to maintain this order. It would be very, very convenient for all of you to multiply. Now what the purpose of giving the bracket is that you have to multiply this monomial term, that is 4p, with all the terms inside the bracket. That means first of all we'll multiply 4p with q, and then we'll multiply 4p with r. Okay, so let's see what next we have to do. 4p into q. Now what sign we have with 4p? We have no sign. No sign means positive sign. So plus, and what sign we have inside the bracket? Plus. So we have to multiply this, both the sign, and then we have to write the final answer. That is plus is plus. So please try to understand the steps very, very properly, students. Now, and then what we have to do, we have to again multiply this 4p with this second expression inside the bracket. Now let's multiply this. 4, there is no numerical coefficient, that means 1 is there, so 4 ones are 4. P into Q would be PQ. Now let's see what is the product of this. R is having no numerical coefficient but 1. Okay, so if you do not see any numerical coefficient is there, then you will assume it as 1. So 4 ones are 4. P into R would be PR. So this is the final solution of sum number 1. Okay students, now let's move on to sum number 2. So what we have in sum number 2, we have AB comma A minus B. I hope all of you have understood which one is monomial. So this is monomial, students, and the second expression is binomial. Now what is the first step that we have to do? We have to write the monomial expression first, then we have to give multiplication sign, and then we have to put bracket, and inside the bracket we have to write the binomial expression. Now next step, we have to multiply this AB with the first expression given inside the bracket, that is AB into A. Now what sign we have with AB? No sign, that means plus sign. So plus minus is minus, and then again we have to multiply this AB with B. Okay, so AB into B. So what is the product of AB into A? How many A's are there altogether? 2. So we'll write A square, and only one B we have, so we'll write B. Now in the second case, we have 1A but 2B altogether, so we'll write B square. Okay, so this is the final solution of sum number 2, students. I hope all of you have understood. Now let's move on to the third sum of question number 1. So what we have in question number sum number 3, so we have A plus B comma 7A square B square. Now which one is binomial? This expression is binomial, as we have two terms out here. And what about this? This is monomial. Now it doesn't matter that if binomial term is mentioned first and monomial is given next. Always try to write the monomial terms at first, always. Okay, 7A square B square, then put a multiplication sign, and then inside the bracket you write the binomial expression. Now in the next step, we'll multiply 7A square B square with A, that is 7A square B square into A. Then what sign we have with 7A square B square? No sign, that means plus. So plus into plus will give you plus, and then we'll multiply this 7A square B square with B as well. Now let's multiply it. A is having 1 as a numerical coefficient, so 7 ones are 7. How many A's are there altogether? A square and A, that means 3. So we'll write A cube. There is no B, so we'll write B square. Now what about this one? So B is having 1 as a numerical coefficient, so 7 ones are 7. How many A's are there? Only 2. And how many B's are there in altogether? That is 2, and here 1. So altogether we have 3B. So this is the final solution of sum number 3. Now let's move on to the last sum of today's session, that is sum number 4 of question number 1, students. Now A square minus 9 comma 4A, isn't it? Now again, which one is binomial? Yes, this is binomial. This is binomial, and this one is, monomial. Okay, now let's multiply this. As we have learned that we always need to write the monomial term first, then we put multiplication sign, and then we'll give the bracket, and inside the bracket we'll write the binomial term. Now we'll multiply this 4A with A square first, that is 4A into A square. Now what sign we have with 4A? No sign, that means plus. So plus minus will give you minus. Now plus we have to multiply this 4A with 9 as well. So 4A into 9. Now let's see what is the product of 4a into a square. So we have 1 as a numeral coefficient with a square. So 4 ones are 4, and how many a's are there in altogether? So we have 1 here and 2 here. So altogether we have 3a. Now let's see what is the product of the second one. So 4 into 9, 36. How many a's are there? Only 1 a. So that's it, students. So this is the final solution of sum number 4, and that's it for today's session. Hope you all have understood all the sums which I have explained. Thank you so much. God bless you and take care.